Today we've got a 2011 model Ford Mondeo. It's fitted with the 2-litre diesel engine and it's got roughly 187,000 miles on the clock. We're going to have a look at the rear suspension today. The customer has actually asked for rear trailing arm bushes. I haven't been underneath the car yet, but I know that they are prone to splitting and coming adrift, particularly on high mileage cars, and this one has done 187,000 miles. This is one of the bushes, one of the new ones. You do need a special tool to fit these, because it is quite a lump, and it presses into a trailing arm on the suspension, which is located sort of around about this area, a little bit inboard, and the arm goes from here down to the back. This supports the front end of the arm and keeps the wheels running true. So yeah, they're probably, well, these ones are just cheapy ones he wanted online. Around about 30 to 40 pounds for the pair, which is very cheap. I know you can pay more than that for one when you go for a good name brand. But we'll take the car up, get the wheels off and have a look. So before you jack the car up, it's a good idea just to crack these bolts loose. It's just a 19mm. I say bolts, they're nuts, wheel nuts. Yeah, that don't feel very good. So this one hasn't got locking wheel bolts, so I haven't got to spend any time rummaging around for the key to undo those. They don't feel very good though. These Ford ones, usually that little cover, as you can see there, they lose them over time. They just come loose and fall off. Or get stuck in the socket and come off. Now I'm going to give that one a little tap. I think somebody's already had a little go at that. I expect that cap will come off with a socket on that one. It's not very good design of wheel nut. Yeah, I'll leave that on there for now. I'll take that off and get it out in the vise. Right, so this is the nut that has got stuck. What I'll do, I'll put it in the vise and I'll get, as you can see, there's another one there that's been the same. I'll get a hammer and punch and tap that out of there, but I'm pretty sure that cover on the nut is going to be ruined. Yeah, oh well, it's still on there, a little bit loose. can see I'm pointing there with a screwdriver. It's a little bit difficult for me to get in the way. Oh yeah. The bush is actually, yeah, it's come away from the casing there, sticking out a little bit. Starting to come away all the way around. So this is the part we've got to change. We'll take it up in the air, undo the bolts here, the handbrake cable, see if we can lower this arm down, wedge it down, and I'll show you the tool that we're going to use to change it. We'll be doing exactly the same on the other side, so we won't record that. It's just around the other way, obviously. Right, so here's our bush that we need to gain access to change. As you can see, it supports this end of the arm. The other end is all part of the hub, stub assembly. Now to drop this down, we need to remove or loosen and pull aside the handbrake cable, this wiring loom here, and the brake pipe. So I'll start on the other side by undoing the two 7mm bolts that hold the handbrake cable in, and then we can hopefully pop that off and push through the fittings for the loom and unclip the pipe. That's the handbrake cable off. This side you can see there's a fitting here that's got a peg through the middle of it, so I'm just going to give that centre bit a tap and hopefully that will come out and then the peg will come out. I think that one's the same as well. Oh, the whole fitting's gone through. What have we got up here? So that's off, that's off. It's just one more bit. Oh yeah, another little push fit plastic fitting there. Might have to squeeze that together with a pair of pliers actually. Another one down there. Ah, there it is. That's it. Or you could cut the cable ties off and pull the cable out and leave the plastic bracket behind. Okay, so they're all off. I've got a 13mm nut on a stud here, which I'll take off next. That supports the brake pipe bracket. And then we'll undo the two, I don't know what they are, they look like 18mm. two 18mm bolts. I think what I'll do next, see if I can undo this bolt here to give us a bit more free play. That's still holding it up there quite tight. I think maybe just either this one or this one, like a little dog bone tie bar there. And then, yeah, maybe I'll try this end. Trouble with these is the bolts in time, they get seized inside the metal tube in the middle of the bush. So when you try and undo them, they'll start turning, but then that tube will turn as well, which stops the bolt coming out. So you're getting all kinds of trouble. So I'll give them a spray up with some penetrating oil, and hopefully this one will come out, because I think that'll be easier if we're pulling it down rather than that one, because the arm will be in the way still. I think I'll undo the shock absorber as well. Right, I think that's 15 and probably an 18 again. Right, to undo that, I need to get this bolt out of the way. Otherwise it's going to be a bit of an angle and it could slip and round off. I'm just going to see if this will undo. Oh, well, that was easier than expected. And hopefully that'll give us the clearance. Yeah, that's better. Will this come undone? Got my doubts. Blimey. I think that nut's actually captivated, it's welded. It's going to be tight all the way out. Also, going to undo this shock absorber. I mean, this might not all be completely necessary. I just want to try and make it a bit easier. I think that's an 18mm. As you can see, that's let some tension off. Get that handbrake cable out of the way. That's easier, that's making life better. Oh, we've got the brake pipe there, so I can clip. I think that just pushes out. I can't see from here. Oh yeah, that's it. That's giving us a lot more easier access. Right, what I'll do next is get a block of timber to go between the sill panel and the exhaust just to hold it down. Then we can start work on the bush. So as you can see, this is quite a dusty tool that I bought. Obviously I don't use it a great deal of the time, but I've used it a fair amount of times on Volvos and Fords, S-Max, Galaxy, Mondeo. So it is designed to be used to remove and install the bush. But I know several friends in the trade have used them to remove the bush as well. Yeah, it works lovely, but you do put additional strain on the thread. I always try and keep that well greased. So I'll try and take the bush out another way, just use the tool to install the new one. So that's what we're going to do next. But the good thing about that tool is you can use it in situ, so you haven't got to take the whole arm right off. So the bush, there's actually a little cutout, a little notch there in the arm. It's supposed to be level with that, so obviously it could go in either way. So that's just something to try and line it up with when you're installing it. Also, as you can see, it's got a metal shell on it, which you can see around here, and that will over time get seized in this arm. So what I'm going to do now is get a reciprocating saw through one of these holes somewhere and just try and cut this to take the pressure off it, and then hopefully we can knock it through and knock that one out. Not sure if the blade fits in there. If you're lucky, sometimes these bushes are so badly split you can just pull the rubber bit out and deal with the shell. I might see if I can cut that one actually. A bit of oil on the blade might help. Okay, so I've cut through all 4 of those rubber legs and that's it. We can get the centre bit out of the way. Now I can work on this shell. little bit difficult to... I think we're through there. I'll grab my air chisel next. I mean, you could just cut another slot, hammer and chisel, cave it in on itself and knock it out. But usually air chisel is pretty quick, although extremely noisy. Well, as you saw, that came out pretty easy. Didn't even need the air chisel really. Could have just tapped that out with a little hammer. Sometimes they do rust right in there and they're a bit of a pain. Just using some emery paper to clean off any surface rust. Not that I think there's a lot in there. So make sure you get the right side bush. They are, the only difference is this stud is in that hole for the other side. Apart from that, it looks pretty much identical. So clearly that can only go in from this side. And remember to try and line the flat bar up with that notch there. We'll get the tool prepared and on there and see if we can press that in. Just applying a bit of grease in there to help push that bush through. So this is the tool. The bush goes in there and the shell butts up against the main body of the tool there. And you need to nip up these which hold it in place. Right, so on the car, this magnetic ring sticks on the other side of the arm. That'll stick against the arm if the arm's going through here. Then this, you will need to put it into place. It's a little bit difficult to show. And so obviously the arm will be in this gap here. And you start winding this end here, which in turn pushes the bush while it's being supported from the other side by this. And you just keep winding until this bit butts up against the arm and that's fitted to the correct depth. Right, starting on this side, we've got a metal ring in there, a spacer that comes as part of the kit. It's actually magnetic, so that's quite handy to stick it onto the arm, and it's got a little cutout for the to allow for the brake pipe bracket there. And then you've got the base of the special tool, puller, pusher, whatever you want to call it. This side, I've clamped up the two parts which hold the bush in place, and they also act as a stop. Once they touch here, that's the bush in as far as it needs to go. And also, as I was saying earlier about lining up this flat bar with a little notch in the end of the arm, so I've done that as well. I'm just going to start winding and hopefully it will pull in. So they're almost home now. Oh, a bit of wood's come down. Oh, I think that's about it. Yeah, that looks good, this side. Yeah, and this piece is butted up against the arm, same as the top. So that's all in where it should be. So I'll just go ahead and take that tool back off now. We've got that magnetic ring there. Just loosen those off. Oh, I need to loosen one. And that's one bush installed. So we can start to rebuild now and get the arm back up in place where it should be. Let's get this piece of wood out. Right, we need to, might have to use my gearbox jack actually to push that back up in. Yeah, that would be easier. Just got to use what you got to hand, really. I would imagine a lot of people would be doing it on the floor. I'm lucky to have the luxury of the ramp. You could use a trolley jack underneath it to support it and push it up.
And Garrett's caught on the bracket's caught on the exhaust pipe.
Oh yeah. Hopefully that won't slip. Like that. So I've got that's the subframe, that's the arm. Just put a bit of grease on that. As you can see, those arms, they twist a bit when you undo them. That's it. I don't know if the gun will fit in there. Actually, I'll check that one with the bar before I put the subframe bolt back in. Oh, it's tight. Right, next we'll try and get these bolts in the front, in the mount. I've got to clip the brake pipe back in before I go too mad. That's it. Can be a bit fiddly. I do remember struggling in the past. Luckily these bolts, they've got quite a long tapered end to them to locate into the hole to put it around straight before you can do them up. So that will help. But also should be able to put a screwdriver or a bar in the one of the holes to help line it up. I'm trying to remember how I've done this in the past. Maybe I levered the whole thing forwards. Oh, there we go. Still not lined up. some reason I've got a feeling I'll put the bar up here somewhere. Not too sure. Ah, was it on there? That might have been it. That's it. Yeah. Memory's not that great nowadays, but that definitely helps, just putting a bar up there to push it all forwards whilst putting the bolts in. Okay, so now we can do those two up. Now, where did I put the nut for the brake pipe bracket? So you've got a little peg off of the bracket there that locates into the slot. Obviously there will be tightening torques for every nut and bolt on the car. Not only cars, any mechanical fixing really, push bikes, lawnmowers, anything. Which you should be able to look up online. Alternatively, you just got to be sensible about things and make sure you do them uptight basically. Right, I think I'll put that one back on first. That was the last one off. That's it, clipped in. Right, next, what have we got over here? That one pushes in. That one pushes in there. Then we've got the two 7mm bolts left to go there. back out. I think we're there. Alright. Handbrake cable clips come off. That's it. Right, let's let this jack down. I've already checked all the bolts, tighten this by hand. We're all done under here now. Everything's back where it was. So we drop the ramp down halfway and get the wheel back on. Right, we'll drop that down on the floor and check the wheel nuts with a bar. Something that's worth considering once you've had the suspension apart, pretty much doing any suspension job, geometry job, trailing arms, suspension arms, you may want to think about having the wheel alignment checked. Not everybody's got tracking gauges, wheel alignment equipment. You could run it to your local tyre dealer and I'm sure they'd be more than happy to check and adjust if necessary. So the rear on a Mondeo, S-Max or Galaxy, you can adjust it with these two nuts and bolts that go through. They've got an offset washer, which you might be able to see there, and it sits between two lugs. So once you've loosened the nut, you can turn the bolt and it will make the arm go in and out very slightly. But as you can see, typically these do rust up and they do seize. So it's not always a 5-minute job. Wrong size socket, that's a good start. Well, I say wrong size. When these lose their caps, the 18mm fits better than a 19. 19's a bit loose. But before they lose the caps, they get a bit tight and distorted. That's it. Just about brings the job to an end. As with all of my jobs, I'll give it a road test, make sure there's no knocks or rattles. And as I explained, it's worth considering getting your tracking checked.